It's Monday, December 29th, 2025, and apparently it's Pepper Pot Day, which feels correct because the AI ecosystem is a boiling pot right now. I'm Hunter.
And I'm Riley. And yes, this episode was cooked by robots, like end to end. If something gets a little uncanny, that's the point.
We left the weird in on purpose. All right, today's big thread on X has been DeepSeek V3.2 open weights showing up everywhere, and people are acting like it's the new agents for the people.
The vibes are so loud. It's like agentic, long context efficient, and everyone's suddenly an infrastructure expert.
Exactly. But there's something real underneath the hype. What people are claiming is DeepSeek V3.2 is getting better at tool use and staying coherent over long runs, while also being cheaper to run because of those sparse attention style efficiency tricks.
Okay, but let me be annoying. When creators say long context, they mostly mean I can paste my brand voice doc and it won't immediately forget it. Not like I can run an agent for hours without it turning into soup.
That's fair. So here's the first workload where I'd actually bet my reputation, campaign ops agents, that have to juggle a messy stack. Not writing copy, I mean the agent that reads a brief, checks your product catalog, pulls last week's ad performance, drafts new variants, and then creates the tasks in your project manager for human review.
So not make me a caption, but manage the whole annoying middle layer.
Exactly, the boring glue work. And that's where open weights matters, because you can self-host and you can shape the model to your workflow instead of begging a closed API to behave.
People keep yelling commercial use like it's a cheat code. But what's the least boring way that changes lock-in?
The least boring way is you stop designing your workflow around one vendor's mood swings. If your whole marketing machine depends on one closed model, you're basically renting your brain. With open weights, you can build a router, you can swap brains, you can fine-tune for your brand rules, and you can keep the same automation skeleton.
Wait, but the hidden cost is you just volunteered to become a mini cloud provider? Everyone's like, we'll self-host, and then they discover logs, uptime, security, and the fact that GPU instances are not a personality trait?
Totally. Open source is free until it isn't. The bill shows up as engineering time, monitoring, prompt injection hardening, and the why is latency spiking panic at midnight.
And the human cost. Like, the new bottleneck isn't tokens, it's, will your team actually change how they work?
That leads right into the sparse attention efficiency claim. The current DeepSeek V3.2 release chatter is specifically tied to a sparse attention approach DeepSeek calls DeepSeek Sparse Attention, which is reported to cut compute and cost on long context workloads while keeping performance roughly in line with the prior V3.1 generation.
Also, data quality. Because agents are only as good as your truth layer. If your product info is in 3 spreadsheets named final, the model is going to hallucinate a SKU and you'll ship a cursed ad.
Preach. If you want agentic marketing, your inputs have to be machine legible. That's the unsexy part.
Speaking of unsexy, can we talk benchmarks? X is doing the usual thing where everyone name drops benchmark acronyms like it's a sneaker drop.
Yeah, marketers should stop citing benchmarks that don't resemble their workflow. If your job is customer support automation or campaign QA, a generic reasoning score doesn't tell you whether the model will follow your brand policy or call the right tool.
Exactly. I don't care if it can solve a puzzle. I care if it can read my creative brief and not invent a discount that legal never approved.
Which is why the more interesting benchmark chatter this week is around tool use style tests. That's closer to does it behave like an agent, not just does it answer trivia.
Okay, but let's pivot. The other spicy one. Naver's HyperCLOVA X SEED Think. Open weights reasoning model, strong Korean performance, and people are calling it enterprise grade.
This one matters a lot for Korea and Japan first marketing teams. The smartest use case where global models still fumble is localized nuance plus compliance. Like customer support agents that need to sound natural, honorifics correct, and not accidentally disrespect the user while escalating a ticket.
Yes, and also localized copy that isn't just translated but culturally formatted. Global models still do this thing where the Korean is technically correct but feels like a weird textbook boyfriend.
Right. And for minimum responsible deployment, if you're going to let an open weights reasoning model touch customer-facing support or copy, you need a checklist.
Hit me.
Okay, not in a boring way. First, lock your truth sources, approved claims, pricing, policy language. Second, force structured outputs so it can't freestyle. Third, log everything. Prompts, tool calls, outputs. Fourth, put a human approval gate on anything high risk like offers, medical claims, finance stuff.
And fifth, you need a tone bouncer, like a critic model or rules layer that catches when it starts sounding off-brand, too spicy, or too robotic.
Exactly. Humans in the loop, but humans focused on judgment, not copy-paste labor.
Okay, speaking of magic but grounded, MetaSam Audio is being talked about as a unified audio separation model. People are saying you can isolate sounds using text prompts, visual prompts, or time markers. That sounds like witchcraft.
That part checks out with the current SAM audio write-ups and threads. It's positioned as segment anything but for audio separation, with prompting via text, visual cues, and time spans.
Like, this influencer clip is fire, but the coffee grinder is committing war crimes in the background.
Exactly. Or separating dialogue from music so you can repurpose a clip for paid without fighting the audio track. Or pulling clean voice for captions and translations.
Wait, and podcasts. If you can isolate voices better, you can clean remote recordings, reduce room noise, and make those recorded in a closet episodes usable.
Totally. But here's the snarky but serious question. Does this create better ads, or just more mediocre content shipped faster?
Both. It's always both. The floor rises, the ceiling stays talent. If you were boring before, you'll now be boring in higher fidelity.
That's the thesis of the whole era. Automation removes grind, but it doesn't create taste.
Quick ecosystem check before we wrap. The past week has been heavy on agents and multimodal workflows. We've had platforms pushing Gen AI deeper into ad tools, more chat as a work operating system, and this steady shift toward automation that actually touches execution, not just drafting.
And it all points to the same thing. Models are becoming more deployable components. Open weights on the LLM side and more modular media tools on the audio side. The winners are going to be the teams who build systems that can swap components without breaking the whole pipeline.
And teams who keep receipts, like logs, approvals, versioning, creative history. Otherwise, open weights plus agents equals brand roulette.
The plausible downside scenario is silent brand risk. Not the dramatic AI posted something insane, but the subtle, it changed a number, phrased a claim wrong, localized it weird, and it scales before you notice.
The scariest failures are the polite ones. The model that sounds confident and wrong.
So yeah, if you're listening and you want to play with DeepSeek or HyperCLOVA, do it. But do it like an operator. Put guardrails in front of the fun.
And if you touch audio with Sam Audio vibes, please don't use it to make 1,000 louder, noisier ads. Use it to make one clean story that actually lands.
Amen. All right, that's it for today's Pepper Pot Day episode.
Go celebrate by separating a soup slurp from a dialogue track.
Thanks for hanging with us on KoiCast. Subscribe and check out koi.com/resources for AI news and updates. Catch you next time.